Sahanau bhunaktu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Vasudevasudam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. बोलिए श्री आदि शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम. We are beginning this episode of Srimad Bhagavad Gita through the eyes of Bhagavan Sri Shankara. Because of so many internet connection issues, it had stopped quite a few times abruptly in between. So these verses that we were looking into were Tasmadyasya Mahabaho Nigrahitani Sarvashaha Indriyani Indriyarthebhya. Sorry, the previous verse Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. So that was the Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bhijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammohaha Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinashaha Buddhinashat Pranashyati. Dhyayataha Vishayan Pumsaha. The person, the individual, is going on thinking about objects. Objects means Vishaya means here thought. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangaha Teshu Upajayate. Sangha means there is an attachment that comes to that thought. That attachment is when we go on thinking about the thought, our mind, the attention being paid to the thought becomes very prominent in our mind, and we become attached to that thought. We are not able to refrain from thinking, from leaving anything and not being able to think about that thought. Sangasteshu upajayate. Then sangat sanjayate kamaha. From the attention, from the association with the thought, what is born? Sangat sanjayate. Something is being born. What is being born? Kama or desire is being born. And what does that desire do? When the desire is obstructed, it becomes anger. When the desire is fulfilled, it becomes greed. Sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodhaha abhijayate. It becomes anger. Then what happens? Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. When the mind becomes completely turbid with anger, what actually happens is there is no clarity. You cannot see through turbid waters. When the water is completely messed up and energetically moving around, you cannot see what is inside. So in the same way, the person with a turbid mind filled with anger cannot see clarity. Krodha bhavati sammohaha. Samyak moha means he enters into that state of delusion where he totally believes that he is this body and everything that is there to it is only this and nothing more. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Because of the delusion, his mind is confused. Smriti means the memory of who am I, what I need to do, what is happening around me, whom am I speaking to. We see so many occasions when we forget all this and we land ourselves into trouble. So Smriti Vibhramaha, Smriti Bhramshat Buddhi Nashaha. If I'm not able to remember clearly about what I need to remember about myself, my surroundings, the people around me, the work I need to do, and the behavior I need to have, the thoughts I need to think, or the feelings and emotions of how I should respond to situations. If I'm confused about all this, if I don't have the right remembrance and clarity, buddhi nashaha, I will do wrong things. I will do do things in such a way that it lands me into further trouble. Buddhi nasha means I will not be able to think with clarity, and that will enable, like, our thoughts only precede our actions. What we think, that only follows as actions. So buddhi nashat pranashyati, everything gets disrupted in life. Our thoughts, feelings, emotions, moods, actions, results, which further feed our thoughts, feelings, emotions, moods, and actions. The whole cycle is corrupted because of this meditation on Vishaya, well, the object on which I meditate. If the object is a supreme object, which means if the object is divine, the object is to do with divinity or quietness, meditation, then it is a different story altogether. But when we meditate on the objects of the world, meaning the objects of thoughts, feelings, and emotions through the senses of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching, some name and form, thought forms and names of objects and qualities of what is available in the world, then this is the ladder of fall. Bhagavan Shankaracharya in Bhajagovindam talks of the ladder of rise. We don't need, we need to be aware about how we can fall, but it is important to know how to rise from this, how to rise. So the ladder of rise is there in Bhajagovindam. It's a very famous verse. Satsangatve nisangatvam, nisangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan muktihi. From satsanga, that is how Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha is Dussanga. When the attention of my consciousness is cast on some object of the world, Vishaya. Vishaya means some name, form, and quality which belongs to the world, which comes into us through the sense organs, is Vishaya, as thoughts, feelings, emotions, whatever. Here the Vishaya is Satsanga. What is the satsanga? Satsanga is association with the self, association with the guru, association with the Veda, Vedanta, Purana, Itihasa, the Sambandha of Bhagavan or Guru. That is a satsanga. Or even all the people who are all gathered together in the name of the teacher, in the name of the master, in the name of the Upanishads, or in the name of the Bhagavan, Purana, listening to stories or practicing something good together. It's a satsanga. When you enter into that satsanga, what happens? This is you. This is a satsanga. When you enter into satsanga together, you become nissanga. Nissanga means you separate from the thought. The separation of consciousness and thought happens. That is satsangatve nissangatvam. I dissociate from the particular thought pattern which can drag me into the world of Maya, into the world of emotions, into the world of distortions, into the world of delusions. So I withdraw from those thoughts. Nissangatvam. When I withdraw from those thoughts, nisangatve nirmohatvam, I will not have moha. Here in this sangat sanjayate kamaha, kamat krodho bijayate, krodhat bhavati sam moha. If I am associated with krodha, anger, then I will have moha or delusion. Here, if I enter into satsanga, my mind will be free, detached from the thoughts, and then I will enter into the state of nirmohatmam. There will be no delusion in my mind at any point of time. I will not believe strongly that this is I am the body, and so that moha will not be there. Nirmohatvam. Nirmohatve nischala tattvam. If I do not have delusion, if I do not have that strong belief that I am the body, then the mind becomes nischala. Nischala means there is no movement in the mind. The movement is coming because of its identification with the body and with the thoughts in the mind. If there is no identification with the thoughts in the mind and there is no identification with the body, the mind becomes nischala. Nischala tattvam. Nischala tattve jivan muktihi. If the mind is free, if the mind is nischala, then it attains a state of jivan muktihi, means freedom while living in this birth. So what is mukti? We understand the word mukti as death, but it is not, that is not the meaning. Mukta means to be free. Jivan mukta means while living, that person is not attached to anything. That person is not compelled by anything. That person is not bound by anything. Any situation, any thought, any circumstance, any emotion. They cannot bind that individual. That is what Jivan Mukti means. In financial terms, if you say what is Jivan Mukti, it is like having lots of money, having crores and crores of money, having all the estates, the house, or the property, everything, being master of all that wealth, and having no desire really for one's own self to buy something or enjoy, just being very happy with what we have. So that is a state of financial freedom. So in the same way, Jivan Mukti is having all the life ahead of us, living life, being very happy, at the same time not having any compulsive desires that we need to get it fulfilled. So that's the state of Jivan Mukti. So the person attains that state. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha, buddhinashat pranashyati. So Bhagavan Adisankaracharya gives in detail a little bit about this. Chintayataha dhyayataha vishayan, shabdadi vishaya visheshan. So meditating on shabda, the sounds that we hear. It can be in the form of gossip, it can be in the form of music, it can be in the form of some YouTube channels and talks and some discussions, or something that we see, shabda, then sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, all that. आलोचयतः पुंसः पुरुषस्य संग आसक्तिः प्रीतिः तेषु विषयेषु उपजायते. Asakti and Preeti are two interesting words. When I'm going on, Bhakti is something different. There are three forms of love. The love for the divine, the love for something that is highly evolved and better, more evolved than us, is Bhakti. Then the love for something that is equal to us is Preeti. And the love for something that is below us in evolution is Asakti. So Preeti also binds you. You like your friends and your friends like you. So the friends liking you and you liking your friend is reciprocal. It is dependent on each other. So there is a tie, there is a connection that holds you. There is no complete freedom in that. And Asakti is even more attaching, like mobile phones or cars, vehicles, pet animals, or something that is inferior to us in consciousness, in the lower level of consciousness, awareness. So that is asakti. So teshu vishayeshu upajayate. when you meditate on some object, if I'm going on thinking about, maybe I want to get a car, and I'm going on thinking, today modern day science is proving all that. They come about with the reticular activation system in the brain, which records, which photographs what the eyes see, what our eyes see. In fact, all our artificial intelligence and the whole process of algorithms on YouTube and algorithm on social media, what we watch on social media, like when we spend time on something, we are actually increasing our liking for that. And so this reticular activating system, it records what we spend time on, attention on, and then it keeps giving us, it keeps showing that to us everywhere. So we keep seeing. Suppose I say I like a white car, I want to get a white car, and you decide on that white car, and then in a short while you will go out, everywhere you will be seeing white cars. So this is the process of sangha. There is an attachment of consciousness and the thought that happens in the brain. Sangaha asakti pritihi visheshu. Sangat pritehe sanjayate samutpadyate kamaha trishna. Trishna means a lustful desire after that object. Going on thinking about that object is even in the formation of habits also. This word trishna comes in English like in the loop of habit. First, the impression is formed, then the lusting after that impression, the vibration of the heart starts beating for that object, and the intensity of the beating continues as long as the desire remains in the mind. And then the third is going and attaching and getting the object, Trishna. Kamat kutaschit pratihatat krodhaha abhijayate. When that desire is obstructed at some point of time by somebody or some situation, if I want to meet some person and the whole situation turns in such a way that the whole meeting is blocked and I have to be somewhere and I have to be doing something else very important, inside me that desire is there and the anger wells up. So that is krodhaha. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha avivekaha karya akarya vishayaha. So some moha Bhagavan Adisankaracharya says, what is complete delusion is what I should do, what I should not do. That is the problem which Arjuna had. So he is trying to highlight that. Sammohaha karya akarya vishayaha kruddhaha hi sammudhaha san gurum api akroshati. Such a person, he forgets everything. He forgets his relationship with the guru also, and in his anger he shows the anger against the guru also, which will not be done under normal times. In normal situations, normal circumstances, it is not done. Akroshati. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. When the delusion gets very intense, then the memories collapse. There is no connection with the right kind of thinking. The thoughts, the right kind of thoughts do not spring up in the mind, and the connection is lost. Shastra Acharya Upadesha Hita Samskara Janitayaha Smritehe Syat Vibhramaha Bhramshaha Smriti Utpatti Nimitta Praptau Anutpattihi. So all that we have learned from the Shastra, this is good, this is bad, this should be done, this should not be done, all this is forgotten in the Smriti Bhramsha when the memory is lost. And we do things we are not supposed to do. We say things that we are not supposed to say. We behave in manners that we are not expected to behave. So all this can happen. Tataha smriti bhramshat buddhehe nashaha karya akarya vishaya viveka yogyata antakaranasya buddhehe nashaha uchyate. So the inner equipment or the manas, the mind and the intellect, they become confused, and they engage in actions they are not supposed to, and they move towards actions. They do things that they are not supposed to do, and they don't remember to do the things that they are supposed to do. Karya Akarya Vishaya Viveka. Viveka means the ability to distinguish between what I should do and what I should not do. That goes away. Buddhinashat pranashyati. Tavat eva hi purushaha yavad antakaranam tadiyam karya akarya viveka yogyam tad ayogatve nashtayeva purushaha bhavati. So if this is not there, the right kind of discrimination between what I have to do and what I should not do, if it is not there, then everything about the human being, the interaction in the world becomes nashta, becomes it is like it is a hopeless situation, because our interaction with the world, only when we are able to provide something good for the world, people will entertain us. When we don't do the right things to make people happy or to provide something good for them, then people will lose that value for that individual. The only the very very close family members will, out of compulsion, they will interact. Otherwise, they will just drop. That is the nature of the world, where only when we are striving to contribute, yavat vitta uparjana saktaha tavat nija parivaro raktaha. Bhagavad Bhajya Govindam, Bhagavan Adisankaracharya says, as long as we have the capacity to earn, the capacity to contribute suitably to the world, only as long as that time is there, people will be surrounding us. If we lose that capacity and we don't have the right discrimination about what to do and what not to do, what to speak and what not to speak, and how to behave and how not to behave, then the world will drop us soon. It is not going to come behind us. So that is the kind of disturbance that the person can face when they don't have the right discrimination about the actions and they go after these objects of desire. Ataha tasya antakaranasya buddhehe nashat pranashyati purushartha ayogatve ayogyaha bhavati. So the person becomes unfit to follow a kind of a process. Purushartha means I have a goal and I want to achieve that goal. If I want to achieve that goal, I must do this, behave in this manner, say this, speak this, and speak like this, have these kind of emotions, entertain these kind of thoughts and emotions. So this, there is a whole set of parameters that have to be maintained if I have to achieve my goal successfully and do hard work and all that and have the support of everybody. If I do not function in this manner, I go out of the program, out of sync with the program for success, then I become unfit to achieve my goals in life. Purushartha ayogatva. सर्व अनर्थस्य मूलम उक्तम विषय अभिध्यानम अथ इदानीं मोक्ष कारणम इदम उच्यते. So विषय अभिध्यानम, when I'm going on meditating, when I'm going on thinking about some objects of pleasure, objects of the senses, when I'm thinking about that and pursuing that path, it is the cause for all useless things in my life. Anartham means purposeless happenings in my life when I am meditating on some objects of the senses. Now, what is the cause for moksha? What is the cause for purification of mind? What is the cause for freedom of mind? Raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. So these three verses go together. What is the way out? Raga dvesha viyuktaihi tu. if the person is free of desire or attachment, raga, and dvesha. Dvesha means withdrawal. Either I am attached to something or I angrily withdraw from something. Raga, dvesha, viyukta. Free of these two movements, the centripetal force and the centrifugal force. The earth, everything spins in this world, is maintained in balance by these two forces. The mind is also engaging with the world with these two forces, the force of attachment and the force of repulsion. If I am free from these two, Vishayan Indriyais Charanna, even while I am moving around in the world of objects, in the world of the senses, where I see many things, I hear many sounds and speeches and music, or different kinds of auditory inputs are coming. I smell many things, many different things, something I may like, something I may not like, and I taste many things. I get to taste many things, again, which I like and which I don't like. And I get to experience with my skin hot and heat and cold, or so the touches that I like and I don't like, the situations that I like and I don't like, all that we get to experience in this world. But when I'm moving around all these experiences without attachment or without repulsion, hatred, and how do I be? Atma Vashyehi Videya Atma. I am in my own Atma Vasha. I am in my own, absorbed in my own self. My own self is nothing but consciousness. I am aware. I am absorbed in that awareness. Whatever happens to me, whether it is cold, oh, it is cold. Whether it is hot, oh, it's so hot. No excitement, or no grina, no repulsion with any experience. It is cold. Yes, it is cold. It is hot. Yes, it is hot. It is sweet. Yes, it is sweet. It is pungent. Yes, see, when I say that word pungent itself, the eyebrows go up. So it is like the emotions and the reactions are so inbuilt in our system. So this is the whole key. No, bringing the mind to such a state where it is free of attachment and repulsion, raga and dvesha, atma vashyahi. I am always aware. I am aware that it is pungent. I am aware that it is cold. I am aware that it is joyful. I am aware that it is giving me sorrow. I am aware that my eyes are my heart is moving and eyes are welled with tears. I am aware that I am happy. I am aware that I am sad. I am aware that I am miserable. I am aware that there is success. I am aware that there is failure. I am aware that there is hunger. I am aware that there is thirst. So everything, the focus is only on awareness and not on the emotion. When this kind of a situation comes, the person becomes Atma Vasha. I become merged in my own self as consciousness and awareness. Such a person, what happens to them? Prasadam adhigachati. They enter into a state of mind which is prasada antakaranam. Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya says beautifully, ragadvesha viyuktaihi, ragascha dveshascha ragadveshau. Raga is attachment, dvesha is hatred. Tat purassarahi indriyanam pravrittihi swabhaviki. Our sense organs are always putting forward this likes and dislikes in its interactions. Swabhavika means it's our nature. Tatra yo mumukshuhu bhavati sa tabhyam viyuktaihi shrotradibihi indriyaihi vishayan avarjaniyan charan upalabhamana atmavashyehi atmano vashyani vashibhutani taihi atmavashyehi videya atma ichchataha videya atma antakaranam yasya saha ayam prasadam adhigachati. Prasadaha prasannata swasthyam. Very beautiful word. We leave the other things. It is just the same meaning that was explained earlier. Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya says, when the senses are not moving, when the senses which are naturally moving with the likes and dislikes of the mind, when it just interacts free of likes and dislikes, Such a mind attains prasada. Prasada is what we get when we go to the temple. Something to eat is given and something to put on our forehead is given, which is called prasada. What we offer is naivedyam, and what comes to us is prasada. So the prasada mana is whatever is given to me, whatever comes to me, I am at peace with that. I don't want to increase an inch of what I get, or I don't feel elated or distressed about what I have got. Prasadam. Prasannata. And what is that state of prasanna? Prasanna means cheerfulness. Prasanna means swasthyam. Swasthyam, the word for meaning of swasthyam is good health. And what is good health? Swastaha. I am established in my own self as awareness, as consciousness. So that is the definition for good health. So I will be in a state of good health of body and mind when I am established in consciousness. When I am aware that I am consciousness and I am not what I see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, think, and feel. So that is the difference. Prasade sati kim syat iti uchyate. If I get that state of establishment in the self, what happens? Sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. All sorrows are destroyed. When I am established in the self, all the sorrowful experiences are gone. They are no more in my life. Asya yatehe upajayate. For the one who strives. Kimcha prasanna chetasaha swastha antakaranasya hi yasmat ashu shigram buddhihi pari avatishtate. Akasham iva pari samantat avatishtate. Atmaswarupena eva nischali bhavati. Such a person who is established in the self, their intellect becomes like a sky. Nischali means there is no movement. When the identification is with the sky, there is permanence. When the identification with the cloud, there is movement. Clouds come, clouds go, clouds disperse, clouds shed rain, and clouds are fluffy, clouds gather. So much of possibilities are there when the identification with cloud. But when there is a sky alone, it is always there as it is, as it was, and as it will be in the future. There is no change in the sky. The intellect becomes like that. The thought becomes like the sky. Prasanna, that is the prasanna chetasaha. That is the kind of state of mind. Evam prasanna chetasaha avasthita buddhehe kritakrityata yataha tasmat ragadvesha viyuktaihi indriyaihi shastra viruddheshu avarjaniyeshu yuktaha samacharet iti vakyarthaha. So this is when this state is attained, I have done what I need to do. What is it I need to do in life? Kritakritya, meaning I have done what I need to do. So, what is it I need to do? I just need to take the thought to the state where there is no movement, there is no change, there is no modification. Then I have done my job for this lifetime. Sa iyam prasannata stuyate. Now, in the next verse, the prasannata, or the state of mind where it is established in the self, it is established as awareness, as consciousness, is being praised. Nasti buddhihi ayuktasya. For the one who is not integrated means being in one thought of existence as awareness. So that is a state of buddhi. For the one who is ayukta, who has not practiced or learned the art of integration, the knowledge and the practice of integration of the mind, there is no buddhi, meaning there is no proper steady intellect available for that person to do any work. Using our buddhi means using steady thought. Buddhi is nothing but steady thought, steady focused thought, where we are able to do, where we are able to take the right decisions and apply our mind and do the work. It's a very simple expression. We don't need to think about too much about this. It is a regular application in our day-to-day life. What is buddhi? Buddhi is my ability to choose the right action and apply my mind, concentrate and focus on that action. Nasti buddhihi ayuktasya. If the mind is not integrated, if the senses, the mind are not integrated, I will not have this focus. Nacha ayuktasya bhavana. If the person does not have focus, they will not be able to have the right kind of feeling. They will not have the right kind of emotion within them. Nacha abhavayataha shantihi. Such a person who does not have the right kind of emotion within them, the emotion, the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of love, the feeling of harmony, the feeling of peace, the feeling of rest, the feeling of quietude, the feeling of positivity, the feeling of success, the feeling of courage, all the higher level, higher order feelings. If it is not available, nacha abhavayataha, that person cannot express shanti. That person cannot experience shanti. Shanti means calmness of mind. It comes from the word shama, shantihi. Shama means the mind is calm. It is not disturbed by anything. Ashantasya kutaha sukham. If the mind is disturbed all the time, how can that person enjoy happiness, joy, bliss? It is not possible. Na asti, na vidyate, na bhavati ityartaha. Na asti means it is not there. It is not known. Buddhihi, atmasvarupa vishaya. What is buddhi? Is I am that self. That consciousness is only the buddhi. Ayuktasya, for a person who lacks integrity of mind. Asamahitanta karanasya. Integrity of mind means the manas, which with its likes and dislikes, the chitta, which contains the memories of all the objects of the senses and the memories of the past, which is all stored in the chitta, the buddhi, which is the intellect, and the aham or the I thought, which supports the other three. If these are not together, if I am not aware of who am I, and if the buddhi is not powerful enough, and the mind is going in the direction of many thoughts in the chittas, many disturbances are there in the chitta, and the mind is going behind all that. All these four parts of the internal organ or antakarana, the subtle organ of thought, is disintegrated. Such a person cannot have any experience of one pointed intellect or focus, and there is no आत्मस्वरूप विषय अयुक्तस्य असमाहित अंतःकरणस्य न च अस्ति अयुक्तस्य भावना आत्मज्ञान अभिनिवेशः. Bhavana here means that meditation on who am I. That's that kind of a meditative state is not available for that person. Tatha na cha asti abhavayatah atmajnana abhinivesham akurvatah shantihi upashamaha. So if I'm not able to enter into that kind of a state of who am I, the state of my own self as consciousness, if I'm not able to abide in that, if I'm not able to be in that, then there is no peace. The mind will know no peace. That is, here, this is the whole point of Vedanta is, we can try many methods to attain peace, but everything will be short-lived as long as it is pertaining to the world. The reason for our joy, the reason for our peace is pertaining to the world. It is going to be very short-lived. The only constant method by which we can realize true peace is to know who I am. So to enter into that state of who I am, the person will not become fit if their mind is going to be disturbed. Ashantasya kutas sukham. So how will that person experience joy, experience bliss, when the mind is not absorbed within consciousness in the self? And if the buddhi is not, the mind is not integrated, and the buddhi is not experienced with clarity, then how can that person be integrated with one's own self. And without that abidance in the self, where is that person going to experience peace? Ashantasya kutaha sukham indriyanam hi vishaya seva trishnataha nivrittihi yatat sukham na vishaya trishna dukkham eva hi sa. When we are going on behind objects of the senses, it may appear as if we are experiencing some joy, but the joy is only a sense of temporary pleasure. There is only behind that pleasure, what follows from that object is only sorrow. You can test it out on any object of the world, any object of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching. However elevated it may appear in the beginning, at the end of it you get the feeling of, even if you get joy out of it, the joy is not long lived, because the mind cannot be sitting with one object all the time. It has to leave something else will come. Even if it is with us, it might be snatched away, or even if it is outside us, the distance might increase. So many things keep happening. This whole world is a moving, changing kind of a soup which we are in, and so nothing is going to be steady outside in the world, and there is no experience of total joy as long as we are going on attached to some object outside of us in the world. The complete attachment, the complete abidance in the self alone can give that state of joy. So we will continue with the remaining few verses up to the end of this chapter tomorrow. Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Sarvesham Purnam Sarvesham Mangalam Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadeva. Hari Om.